Yes, go ahead.
Okay. I'd like to call the Dover Select Board meeting for Tuesday, February 2nd to order at 6:30 PM. And first up is public comments. Do we have any public comments? Sarah Shippey.
I had a phone meeting with Becca White from Efficiency Vermont. The Deerfield Valley has been selected as one of the target communities for some efficiency money grants. There's 4 categories, one of which is municipal. Actually, there's 1 municipal and there's 4 individual. But we could get a grant of, she thinks it would be around $4,000 towards any improvement to a town building that is energy, is an energy efficiency.
Windows in the town hall.
No, windows, actually, they aren't
bummer.
doing windows.
Oh, bummer.
The furnace replacement, there was a furnace replacement on the schedule.
Mhm.
That would more than likely qualify.
Nice.
But she will also, they will also do
Galaxy.
they would do efficiency evaluations on all the town buildings.
Right.
And then they also have a number of different programs for homeowners, renters, landlords, and small business owners.
And this is it's Wardsboro, Dover, Wilmington, and Whitingham who have been targeted as a group, as an area of target, and she's going to be the liaison and
Right.
the person working with us.
Correct.
So Sarah's going to be. She reached out to us and wanted a point person. So if the board's okay with it, Sarah volunteered to be the point person. You okay with that, Dan?
Thank you,
Yep.
Sarah.
Joe?
I'm okay with it.
Yeah,
Great. Awesome. Thank you, Sarah.
Sure.
Keep us posted.
Yeah, there's more information, but that's the kind of, the $4,000 was kind of the important thing to mention tonight.
That is good. Anybody have any other public comments? Okay. Hearing none, we're going to move on to new business. And first up is the agreement with the Necrason Group for fairness advocates. The board met with the River Valley's board and discussed employing lobbyists to work on our behalf to help push legislation both in the Senate and in the House to implement the weighting study that was done. And so the board came out of that meeting supporting hiring the Necrason Group. They're out of Montpelier, and there are lobbyists to work on our behalf. They, at this point, we are considering an agreement to work with them through the end of the legislative session for $20,000. The money would be coming from the Legal Defense Fund. It's money we already have. And I've been in multiple meetings over the last month with them, and Josh and Richard and I went up and met with them in Montpelier last spring, right before COVID. I think they're very capable. They spent a lot of time researching what we were looking for so that schools properly get the amount of money based on their population and their demographics. And right now, a lot of rural schools and schools that have a lot of poverty and also schools with second language issues are not. And so the weighting study was ordered by the legislature. It was the study was done by the University of Vermont, and now it's getting it pushed over the hump to actually be implemented. So that's our thinking. Anybody else who wants to jump in and say anything about it? Or if you have any questions, raise your hand or wave or something.
Sounds good to me.
Okay, so we're going to need to sign an agreement, so we're going to need a motion, but we're also going to need to register with the state of Vermont as employers of lobbyists. And so an important part of this is what we want to call ourselves. I do like the fairness advocates. I like to keep, we're looking for equity for all students, not just, you know, River Valleys or Dover. We're looking for it to be implemented across the state. Does anybody have any comments on what we want to call ourselves to be registered? Because either Jeanette or Marco are going to register us tomorrow if we sign this agreement tonight.
Vicky,
Yes, Mark?
Thank you. You said something the other night, Rural Vermont Schools Fairness Advocates, which I thought was a really strong name.
Okay. Scott?
I was just gonna say to reiterate like how it's really important to brand us correctly. Just you know, if other people are going to come and try, you know, listen to us, and as I guess sometimes we might have been cast in the light of not the best light being. So having that name would be awesome, and what Mark just said, something with the equity and showing that we're fighting for everyone.
Sarah?
I know that we're lobbying for rural schools, but Burlington is one of the communities that's impacted.
Yes. As is
And-
Brattleboro,
Right.
as is Winooski. So that's why maybe the more
Maybe rural
just
is not.
the fairness advocates, because we're advocating for fairness throughout the state.
Mhm.
You broke up, Sarah.
No, I stopped talking.
I do like the rural, I like the rural part too, but I think we also want to be all encompassing.
That's
We
what I was
can.
concerned with using the word rural,
Mm-hmm.
but so, educational fairness or educational equity for all students.
Do we, Vicky,
Scott?
do we have to have a name? Sorry, I should have thought about this before. I knew we had to come up with a name, but do we have to have a name, like agree on it tonight, right now?
To register.
Well, we
tomorrow,
need
right?
to register with the Secretary of State tomorrow.
Okay, all right.
And the contract actually calls us as fairness advocates. That's what we were kind of moving around with that. So anybody else have any other suggestions? Shannon,
What about equitable education advocates?
I like it.
Simple and good.
Mhm.
We can sign this as it is with the Necrason, and as long as Jeanette and Marco know how to sign us up tomorrow. So equitable education advocates, is the board in favor of that name?
Alliteration.
Yes.
Yes.
Joe?
Sure. Sounds great. All right.
Do you have a question? Okay. Okay, so if we're at that point of end of discussion, any other discussion?
No.
Would somebody make a motion to sign the agreement? And our attorney has looked at this and said that it is fine. There's not a lot of direct deliverables in terms of we need this, this, and this, but they're lobbying, and they're trying to move things forward. And just so the public knows, this is not going to be probably done at the end of the session. It's probably going on to the second part of the session, which would end next spring, not this coming spring. So we may be entering in this agreement for another couple of
Nichols.
time periods, because it's not going to be an easy lift. And so I just want to let everybody know this could be as much as $60,000 in that neighborhood. All right, so I'll entertain a motion to approve the agreement and authorize $20,000 expenditure with the Necrason group.
So moved.
Second.
Everybody wants a second it. Did you get one, Joe? Joe was pretty loud.
Yeah.
Second.
All right. Anything else?
No.
So,
All in
oh,
favor?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All in
Aye.
favor, raise your hand, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
That was unanimous, Jeanette.
okay, and we're going with that,
Thank
that
you all.
name,
Economic,
equitable
Say it
education
again.
advocate.
Equitable.
Equitable educational advocates.
advocates.
Okay. Thank you.
So, okay,
Yes, Jeanette.
sorry, so you're gonna sign that, Vicky, or do they just want,
I am, and I'll send it
Okay.
over to you tomorrow.
Okay.
Okay. And I think I gave you a copy of it already, but I have one that Adam Necrason signed today.
Oh,
And so
okay.
I'll sign this one.
All right.
Okay, because he's got a signature on mine too.
Okay.
Okay, great. Now we're gonna have the introduction and update from the new Forest Service District Ranger, Martina Barnes.
Martina Barnes? Not
Martina?
sure- Not sure if she's on here or not, so don't see her. I don't know who DS
D Strout
Yes, Trout.
Strout is. I'm
or
not sure
D
who that
Strout.
is.
DS,
Hi there. My name is Dana Strout. I actually
Oh.
joined to sit in with Martina, and I think she said she was planning on logging on around 6:50. So she might be a few minutes behind me to introduce herself and talk about some things with the Forest Service. So maybe
Okay.
we can come back to that topic.
okay. Yes, I don't have a problem with that. I don't think the board probably does. This is more
Nope.
just a meet and greet and kind of figure out where we're going with here updates or whatever. But it could be a little bit, just letting you know if we move on to some of these other things.
Yeah, I think that's fine.
Is Richard on with us?
I don't see him.
See him.
Is Linda's here? So let's jump down to the assessor. Linda?
Oh,
Hi,
Hi.
I'm on my phone, so it's small.
Well, you
So
got, thank you
this-
for coming in early. We'll just want to keep
Uh,
moving along.
Yeah, that's fine. This is, you don't even really need me. This is just, I believe, the annual, I don't even have it in front of me, but just the annual
Maintenance agreement.
maintenance
Yes.
proposal. Yes.
maintenance proposal that usually gets signed every year with CAI.
So this is for an $1,850 annual maintenance agreement plus $15 building added or changed for footprints.
Right, so if I want them to do the sketches, which we've never used that because basically I upload all the sketches of properties to the map myself. So that would only be if, like I say, we've never used it, so I'm not even really sure how that works. Thankfully, I'm glad we don't have to use it. Because of the way my camera program is set up, I just take all those sketches and photos and I upload all that to the map myself.
Okay,
So,
well, that's good. That's
know, I
not
could-
an extra expenditure then.
right.
Um,
And I'll just say too, we've been able to save a little money too by having the wide format printer. I don't have them print and send us hard copies of the maps anymore because we can do it right in-house.
Good.
So that saves some too.
Okay, does anybody have any questions about the tax map maintenance proposal and agreement with CAI Technologies.
No.
So hearing none, it looks like the whole board should sign this. They have enough signature lines for that. What do you think, Jeanette?
I can't remember how it's been done in the past.
I know there's
Four lines.
There's 4 lines. I think last year I made the 5th
You
so
may,
that everybody could sign it.
yeah.
Um,
So that's a lot of pushing back and forth. How about if we all agree you can sign our names to it if we vote for this in the affirmative?
I agree.
Sure,
Yeah, that
make
makes-
it.
Yeah, power of attorney for us, Jeanette.
So
Wow.
I
Okay.
think,
So will
if-
some-
I mean, just
Oh,
kind of
what?
an aside,
Yes.
if we're gonna continue to have this, maybe we should all provide a digital copy of our signatures to Jeanette so she can affix them for us when something like this happens.
I have Sarah's actually.
She has mine already, so it's really just a matter of
yeah,
a PDF of your signature, and then Jeanette can drop it in.
It's up to you guys.
well, for tonight,
For
let's
tonight,
just, so is somebody gonna make a motion to,
I make a motion that the board sign
To
the
allow us-
contract for the CAI tax map annual maintenance contract and authorize Jeanette Eckert to insert our signatures thereon.
Second,
second by Dan. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
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 Aye. All right, so that's that. So Martina is not here yet, I don't think, and Rich is not here yet.
Oh, where's Richard?
I don't know. Let's not get into unfinished business. That's quite a bit. Is economic development ready to jump early?
Sure,
Okay. Shannon too?
I think
Okay.
so.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
No problem. So I just want to give you guys a couple of quick updates. I am in the process of regaining our village center designation for both West Dover and East Dover. We let this lapse, and when that happened, it basically took us out of the running for all kinds of federal and state grants and programs that we could really be using. We've talked about the idea of going after grants to finish the lighting project on the trail. And that's one of those grants that falls under this village center designation. It also allows any of the businesses within that village center designation to be able to apply for tax credits for all types of different projects. So this is something that's really important for us to have. Because it's been lapsed for more than 90 days, we need to resubmit the entire application, which is a lot heavier a lift than if we had caught it, but it is what it is. So we're working on that. I'm currently working with Jeff Nugent at the Wyndham Regional Commission to just verify that the maps we used the last time are still correct and updating any businesses that may have changed on that. And then John Bennett and Sue Westa are helping me with the rest of that application process, just because they went through it with, I believe it was Steve or possibly even Ken the last time. So the reason I just wanted to give you guys a heads up about that is once I have all of that done, it does need to come in front of all of you for signatures before it is submitted, the application is submitted to the state. I'm really hoping to have the bulk of that done and in front of you for the next meeting, because the application is actually due on the first Monday of each month. So I'd really like to have that in for the first Monday of March if I can. So just keep your eyes out for that from me. And then the other update that I had
1 second,
was,
Eric.
yep, sorry.
So the reason that this lapsed was because our town plan had expired. So that's how this whole planning commission, that's really important. Because we lost our designation when the town plan expired. So I remember this whole trying to get and that's why the town plan ended up being reaffirmed, but then nobody went to the level of actually reapplying. You see what I'm saying?
Okay.
So we
I
couldn't
was
just
gonna, yeah.
renew because the town plan had lapsed. And then we had then it was this big lift that you're doing right now. So I appreciate you picking the weight up and running with it.
Yeah, so I did confirm with John Bennett, because that town plan had been reaffirmed, we are eligible once again.
Good.
They are, like I said, the maps were already done, so it's literally just me working with Jeff to confirm that any of those buildings or businesses have not changed or moved. And then, you know, John and Sue are familiar with our designation, so that it's just getting with them and making sure we have all our ducks in a row for that. So like I said, we'll get it done, and it's a really good thing for us, and it's a really good thing for all of the businesses and residents in town. So we're gonna get it done. Any other questions on that for me?
No, but I just think we have planning commission on this agenda tonight, and so that's why I'm saying that. The planning commission is a really critical commission for the town because of things like this, because it creates more problems for other departments, more work, and takes us out of the running on certain opportunities. So I just wanted to put a plug in for active planning commission. Thank you.
Seconded. So no, but we'll get it back, and like I said, it opens the door to a ton of stuff. So we're happy to be doing, you know, I think that falls into our department, and we're happy to be taking care of it. My other update is that I have been in contact with Ross Guin, and I might be butchering his last name, from the state. He's our, am I close, Sarah?
You're on, man.
Okay. So Ross is our contact at the state for the Bogle Road or Valley Trail A- project that has been in the works forever. So I have been brought up to speed with Ross. He informed me that because of the trajectory of this project, his recommendation and the thing that's going to keep us going through DOT and the Vermont Department of Transportation and all of those things the quickest is that we select a municipal project manager. You know, back when this project first started, it was okay for Steve to say, yeah, I'm going to be that project manager. The changes in these types of projects now make it so that, like, if I wanted to be the project manager, I would have to submit them a resume stating, you know, what I had done for, you know, what I had completed for municipal projects in order to be in the running to be this project manager. And I have not, to this point, completed massive municipal projects. So I don't think that my resume would look very good to them. So the way that we get around this is that the state DOT has a pool of municipal project managers that they call at the ready. So these companies have already been vetted by the state of Vermont to be managing these types of projects for towns just like ours. So he sent me the link to where to find them. They basically have all submitted at this point kind of almost a response to an RFP, but the RFP hasn't been written yet. So it's just a scope of what they've done for work for their projects and things like that. What we need to do is go through those and select a municipal project manager to kind of head up this project for us. So I spoke briefly with Sarah on this the other day, but I think what I'd like to do is just have our newly formed Trails and Recreation Committee take a look through these at the ready municipal project managers. And then, you know, we would come back to you with our recommendation and you guys sign off and we get things moving forward. That would happen. We have our first, it's in the FYI, but we have our first Trails and Rec meeting next Tuesday. And we'd like to get those in front of them, have everybody read through them with an answer by the next week so that then we can turn around, come back to you and say, here's who we'd like to use as the municipal project manager and get this thing moving forward. Again, Ross said that this is the fastest and easiest way for us to kind of right the ship in terms of this project. So as long as you guys are okay with that, I think that's the course we're going to take.
Eric,
Yes.
the costs associated with hiring a municipal project at the ready municipal project manager, will that come out of the grant, or are we going to have to completely fund that, or will it be a combo?
Ross seemed to think that it was going to be coming out of the grant money. So I can get a confirmation on that before then, but I just, either way, I want to get the process started. We don't actually put pen to paper with these people until you guys say like, yes, let's move forward with them. And then they give us
Right.
a little clearer scope of work once we've chosen them as our municipal project manager. So if we go through it and then get that to them, and then they say it's this much, we can decide like, okay, yes, this is something we can do right now, depending on whether it comes out of the grant money, whether it comes out of our pocket, what those costs are. Then we can make that decision and sign the contract. But we need to, there's a lot of steps before we get to that point, before we would even know what it is that they would charge us to do something like this.
I understand. It's just, I think that financial part of it needs to be right up front, you know, how much it's going to cost us once you
Yep.
get to that point.
Yep.
So, thanks. Other
Okay, so
questions?
just another, like, I'll reach back out to Ross and just confirm, but I'm almost positive that money's coming out of the grant.
Sarah?
Eric, am I
Yeah.
remembering right that you were going to create a matrix for scoring for the Trails Committee people to work from? So we're kind of quantifying our decision.
Absolutely. So, you know, pretty familiar with scoring of RFPs at this point. So I would put together a matrix, you know, with the title of each company that is at the ready. Those committee members would go through, read through their proposed, you know, through their submissions, and score them based on a number of metrics. You know, past projects, you know, is probably a good thing to be looking at. But there would be a scoring matrix for them to go through, similar to what we did with the web RFP, so that, you know, we have a reason to say this is why we chose this company.
Anything else of Eric or Shannon?
No,
Thank you, Economic Development. And I see Martina Barnes is here with us now. So we'll jump back to new business.
Thank you. Hi, hello, everybody. And I think I saw Vicky, that was you who just called me. Thank you. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah. I didn't
Okay,
call
great.
you, but yeah, I can
Oh,
hear you.
sorry. You're the face that's the largest on my screen. Sorry, we're used to using Teams, Microsoft Teams, so it's just a slightly different format. But just wanted to say thank you so much for allowing me to participate in your select board meeting tonight. I'm the new district ranger for the U.S. Forest Service in the Manchester office of Manchester Ranger District, and you may have worked with David Francombe in the past. He went to a new position on the Boise National Forest in Idaho, and I started in November, and I'm just really excited to be here in Vermont, Southern Vermont, representing, you know, a jewel of the National Forest System here in Southern Vermont. And my goal is to just reach out to the 30 or so select boards whose towns are represented and have National Forest System lands. And just to say hello. Today was really more just a chance to just say hello and introduce myself, and know that I'm planning to be, you know, just hopefully in touch with you as we have projects in your town. And I know that we do have a project that's part of the Somerset Integrated Resource Project, which was recently signed. And the implementation of that project includes the Deerfield Ridge Trail System project in your town. And I know we've been working specifically Dana Strout, who's on my staff and who's also on the call tonight. She and I are going to be working closely with Andy McLean from I think who works for you or with you to see that to fruition. And hopefully, you know, I did just want to mention that, you know, it's our hope that we just have an open line of communication, and realizing that the Forest Service has a lot of projects that are going on at the same time. And, you know, we will do our best to get the project done as expeditiously as possible. But, you know, sometimes we do, you know, have to, we're managing a lot of projects across the whole area of Southern Vermont. So I just wanted to be, I guess, upfront with you that, we are doing our best to get the project done as quickly as possible, but it may not be as fast as, that you hope it will be, but I want to be here tonight just to let you know, I want to have an open line of communication and work through, constructively work through issues that come up and concerns that you have, and wanted to give a little bit of time to, before I'm happy to try to answer any questions that you might have, but to Dana, who's on my staff and is extremely competent in the recreation realm, as to what this project is, kind of just to talk through a little bit about the project, if you don't mind me handing it over to her for a moment.
No, we don't mind. And actually, Andy is our town clerk. And
Oh, yes.
he's an outdoor enthusiast who has really pushed this project. And so I think, hello, is she still here?
Yeah.
Oh, Tracy?
Oh, there you are. Maybe the board should introduce themselves because there's a lot of people on here. And so I'm Vicki Capitani. I am the chair of the board.
Okay.
And
Sarah Shippey, vice chair.
Dan Baliotti, selectman.
Scott
Joe
Salway.
Mahan, Joe
Sorry,
Mahan,
Joe.
selectman. No biggie.
you can't see Joe, but he's there.
I'm
And
right
Scott.
here.
Joe's,
Oh,
Oh,
Joe's
there
in
you are.
San
Sorry,
Francisco.
Joe.
I've been here.
He's in
He's in
front of the
San
Golden Gate
Francisco,
Bridge.
So yeah, we'd be happy to hear from either one of you about the project. I know everybody's very excited.
Yeah, so, Dana, if you're there, I think you're there. Do you mind giving an overview and maybe talking about some of the ongoing activities and kind of planned next steps that we could share with the select board?
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, Andy has been really enthusiastic about the project, as you mentioned, and has been asking for something for years to connect the community to the National Forest. And so out of the Somerset project is this Deerfield Ridge backcountry project area that Martina mentioned and has signed a decision to implement. We're working with Southern Vermont Trails Association, specifically in identifying next steps, as Martina mentioned. The project, for those of you who aren't familiar, the project includes a connector trail from a trailhead that would be constructed near Handle Road that would go up to our existing Deerfield Ridge Trail, which runs from Chimney Hill to Mount Snow. And then off from that, there would be some gladed ski areas, like backcountry ski areas, where people would skin up this hiking trail and then, earn their turns and ski down through this kind of backcountry ski area. And along with that, in the lower area, there would be a mountain bike trail constructed with a short beginner loop off from that. It sounds like a simple project, but there's also some bridges out there that need to be designed and constructed as well. So our first steps are, right now we're working to develop this relationship and a partnership with Southern Vermont Trails. We do not have any funding for this project, so we would be relying pretty heavily on SAVTA to help us out with getting some volunteer work. A lot of our recreation projects are partner driven and partner funded, frankly. And so we work really hard to supplement that effort. But we have a multitude of projects that we've approved that are kind of in the till, if you will. So working with SAVTA and hopefully the town to implement this project. I think the next first steps this summer is they're going to start looking at flagging out the trail location and figuring out what kind of skills they need to construct it and see it, trail construction, from what they tell me, would likely not happen until 2022, 2023. Other happenings, I guess, in the recreation world. I know the town of Dover is a recreation destination, But other things that we're working on within your town is the Deerfield Valley Stump Jumpers and their trail system and their connection to National Forest land. There's a trail bridge on their corridor 7100 there that is on National Forest land that we're looking at potentially replacing in the next 3 to 5 years. We recognize it's an older bridge that is failing, and so we're working with that club to get that trail up to standard and keep it open for the thousands of people who utilize that to connect into the Somerset area. So exciting things happening, and it's step by step. So if you have any questions, I think we're kind of learning as we go here. The backcountry ski area, the gladed ski area, is a little bit of a new thing for us. We have a similar project down south of Route 9 in Reedsboro with the old Dutch Hill ski area, but that was definitely quite a bit different than what we'll be working on off the Deerfield Ridge. So exciting, but it will take some time.
Great. Does anybody have any questions of Martina or Dana?
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. I hope we can at some point, maybe in the summer, maybe even go, outside and meet somewhere and perhaps do a field visit.
That'd be great.
Thank you for visiting with us.
Thank you and welcome.
Sure. Thanks for
Bye.
giving us some time
Thank
on your
you.
agenda. And I just, we'll be in touch and definitely be, like Dana mentioned, be working with Andy and the Southern Vermont Trails Association. And I'm sure you'll be informed as progress is made on this project and other projects that we're involved in. So thanks again. So I think we'll sign off now.
Thank you.
Thank you for those open lines
you.
of communication. That was great.
Okay. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Vicki
Okay.
Richards on.
Yeah, I see he's here. Richard, we're going to move to the fire department.
Thank you for reminding me, Sarah. I'm really sorry, guys. It's been a rough day.
No
Oh.
sleep?
A lot of
Oh,
plowing.
Well, I don't think he did as well with the shot as Randy did.
No, I am sore.
Okay, so Rich, we did get a copy of the renovations, the bunk room and the other changes to the firehouse.
Yep,
Did everybody
I
on
sent
the
it-
board get to look at that?
Yep.
Yeah.
Anybody have any questions? So Rich, the plan would be to put that out for an RFQ?
Yeah,
Okay,
and then that way we can see how expensive it's going to be compared to what we have, and then we can, that's the pie in the sky. And then if we have to scale it back, we'll scale it back.
okay. And you're
I think
happy with the
also-
plan? John did those plans?
Yeah, I
John
was going to
Gumack?
say, John Gumack did the plans, and we were also, the only
Yeah.
other thing I would do is, I think that before I went further ahead, this was kind of in the time when Brian was in and out for his surgery, and I may just contact him and see if he's going to do the review or if it has to go to Landon, and just make sure that we can do it before we send something out. Brian had looked at it and said everything would look good to him, but I just want to confirm that before. So if there's any changes we have to make, we can make those changes before we put it out. But if you guys are good, we'll put it out for like a 30-day time period. We'll have them send the bids to the town office. We'll open them, before your meeting and give you a little spreadsheet on what we see for pricing and a recommendation, or if we need more time. So I was thinking, if we got it out sometime by the end of the month, maybe we could do it for like the beginning of April.
Is there any demolition to be done in order to do this?
Yeah, there's a little bit, but it's not going to really affect the use of the building.
Rich, is the North branch is gonna have to be involved in this too, I assume.
Yeah, I'm sure, and I would also, because we're going to change some windows, technically it needs to go before, even though the town's exempt. I know the town has always run things by the zoning administrator. The North Branch, I'm sure we're going to have, like I said, the fire marshal's office, and I'm sure there's other people who are going to want their piece of the pie that we're going to have to talk to.
Does the board have any comments or concerns before Rich puts this out for an RFQ? Are there any public comments? Hearing silence, Rich, I think you can put this out and get some quotations.
Okay, thank you. And then the second thing was the date of the meeting there with Wyndham Regional, Alyssa Sabeto, to update the hazard plan.
Yeah.
So I had two dates I proposed, and I don't need all the select board there, but it'd be nice to have at least a couple, 2 or 3 of you.
What were the dates?
Can you refresh us on the dates?
Oh.
You have it, Jeanette?
Oh,
I do.
Jeanette,
Yeah,
Okay.
I do. I believe he said either Thursday, March 4th or Thursday, March 25th.
yeah, that sounds right.
What, in the evening?
We were thinking maybe like started a little earlier, plan on about 3 hours. So we thought, maybe like 3 to 6. But again, it can be whatever you guys want to.
The Wyndham Regional Energy Committee meeting is Thursday, March 4th at 6 p.m. I don't know if that is,
Yeah.
I'm on the Energy Committee.
Okay. So the 25th?
Well, I mean, the world certainly isn't going to stop turning if I don't come, but.
No,
So
but you are my
Rich
liaison,
was
so
like,
I'd like to have
I'm your liaison. Yeah, I should be there. What time were you saying you want to maybe do it earlier?
3 to 6.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean,
but
I'm fine on that afternoon if you want to do it in the afternoon.
So the other thing is we're supposed to, the reason I wanted to kind of split it a little bit is, last time we had the road commissioner there, we had the police chief, East Dover Fire, Deerfield Valley Rescue, we had some public planning commission. So I thought if we kind of split it then, so it was a little bit during work time and a little bit in the evening, maybe we could get a little bit better turnout.
Okay.
So who else on the board could find time on the 25th to attend this meeting?
I could.
Dan and I can do it too. If
Are we saying the 4th or the 25th? Because I can do it.
25th.
I can do the 4th before 6.
you're going to go from one meeting right to the next one,
I'm sitting in the same chair the whole time. Doesn't really matter.
well, let's
There,
spread
let's
it out.
25th.
25th.
Let's do the 25th. That gives Alyssa more time to get things set up, and it also gives us more time to advertise it.
Okay.
Okay.
And someone can let me know if they can't make it. I could probably make it happen if someone else can't make it.
If we could have 2 or 3 board members there, is that enough, Rich?
Yeah, I mean, if I had one, I would be very happy. But just the more too, so that people know what's going on. Because some of it, has to do with how we're going to mitigate hazards. And like in the last plan, some of it involves spending money. So then that way, when we bring it to the whole board, at least a couple board members have, know what it's about, and we're part of the conversation too. So, if somebody starts saying, well, we need 3 amphibious boats in case we have a flood at the school, you can kind of put the kibosh to that early on.
Okay. I think we have a date.
Okay,
Can I
So
just ask-
thank you. I
Jeanette.
appreciate it.
can I just ask a question? So if at least 3 of you are 3 select board members are going to be there, so we would need to
To
warn
warn
it
it.
as a select board meeting. if you're gonna have a quorum of select board members.
Yes.
So is that how we want to do that?
I was just saying I would go if you'd like need it. Oh, well, that would make 4.
Well,
You'd have 3 anyway,
we
sorry.
should, just in case, I mean, if people want to show, if we warn it, then there's no problem if more than 2 of us show up.
Right. But it isn't necessary for us to have a quorum for this meeting to go on in any way, shape or form. This is just because more of us might show up.
Right.
Is that good, Rich?
No, that's perfect, and I appreciate you guys helping me out with this.
Okay, great. Go get some rest.
And get it, and are we saying 3 o'clock, or are we saying time is going to be determined?
Sarah, let's you and I have a conversation with Alyssa. I'll send an email out to Jeanette, you and her, and say, this is the date, what are the best times? I think she was saying 3 hours.
Okay.
We wanted to try to do it over 2 different dates. Thought just for consistency, it'd be nice. 3 hours is a little bit long on a Zoom meeting, but I thought it would be, that way everybody's there and hopefully they'll be engaged and we could take a break in the middle.
Okay. Good.
Hey, did you guys sign on town meeting or is that still up for
That's
discussion?
to come.
Okay, I'm gonna listen, but I'm gonna mute myself. Thank you.
Okay. So we're done with the fire department. Now we are really jumping around a lot tonight. We are moving back down the agenda to unfinished business to revisit the town meeting options and confirm date. So I just want to know what board members, and then I'm going to ask the public what they think about a potential date to try to target for town meeting. People put some thought to it.
Andy's here too.
And there's Andy.
Yeah, there's Andy.
There's Andy. Hi, Andy.
So board
Thank you,
members.
Andy.
Yeah. You missed
Formally.
the Green
Missed
Mountain National
Martina.
Forest people.
Yeah.
They're very nice.
I think we should officially thank Andy for the book
Yes, the book is
that he
good.
got to all of us. That was very thoughtful.
I second that.
Need to unmute. Does he know he's muted?
He's muted.
He's
Yeah.
muted. He's just
We can't
smiling.
hear you.
Okay. Thank you, Andy.
Right.
We're all thanking you.
You're welcome. I apologize for being late. I totally forgot about the meeting, but you had a good time with the National Forest and
We did.
excellent. Good.
They're very good. Thank you. That was a nice little meet and greet, and we went over
Excellent.
the projects and what the short-term plan is, and so it was good. So we're going to
Fantastic.
talk about town meeting, and I just asked the board to, after 2 weeks ago, I asked everybody to go back and think about it, think about a date, think about what they might want to do. So I just asked the board if they had any other feedback about that.
I would like to see it sometime in the week of May 17th.
Okay.
I also like the May date. I mean, I think Joe was on too. He listened to the school board's debate, the in-person or not in person too. But I don't know. But the May, yeah, later in May and waiting on it.
Yeah.
It's
I agree.
best.
That gets us in
May.
before Memorial Day weekend.
Yeah,
I was kind of thinking about the 18th as a date that might work. It's not before Memorial Day weekend. It's
right.
It is before Memorial Day weekend.
I know, but it's not right before.
Oh, it's not right before, right?
That's
Yes.
what I'm sorry, I wasn't clear on that. It wasn't right before. A midday meeting, if we have to be outside, would be probably more
Doable.
comfortable than trying to do something at night. Jeanette's got her hand.
Well, May 18th would be a normal select board meeting night. Your second.
That's okay. We can
So-
reschedule.
Okay. All right.
You know.
Just throwing that out there.
We could go that Wednesday night, because we'd have to reorganize.
Right.
Mhm. Like we do for town meeting.
Regular town meeting.
Yes, Scott.
We had thrown the idea out of a Saturday or a weekend. Are we still entertaining that idea, or is it Tuesday?
That's true.
What do our town employees think about that, doing something on the weekend, on a Saturday? Yes, Andy.
Or Sunday, sorry, like, I mean, I just did the weekend, you know?
Sundays.
I think if you wanted to change to a weekend, or another day, or an evening, actually, the book that you now possess says some stuff about that and about what it does to attendance. And typically it hurts attendance. Doesn't necessarily make sense intuitively, but that's what the data shows when they look at towns our size that change their meeting days and times. That's typically what happens. Now, it might be that this particular year, since it's so weird, it wouldn't matter, but just to throw that out there, if you want information about what we know happens to town meetings on weekends and evenings, you can read that book. I don't know if you want to make a decision on this tonight, or if you wanted to push it off to your next select board meeting. I know Joe at least wanted to get a decision pretty quick, and I agree with that, but you could always.
It's only 3 months away. Good plan.
Well, I haven't had a chance to read the book. I just picked it up today, and
I haven't gotten
Tuesdays
one.
are a hard day for me to do anything.
I would be in favor of May 18th.
I would be in favor of May 18th too.
I'm good with 18th.
But if we're going to use May 18th as a date, are we going to do it under a tent? Are we going to try to do it indoors at the Grand Summit? What is the next plan of attack if we're going to do it?
Do we have to make that decision now?
Well, we should explore those options. If we make a decision on a date and then explore the options of the date and what would serve our needs the best, so we could plan, and then obviously have a backup and another backup and another backup.
Yeah, in case of rain.
Just saying.
I think if we set the date tonight, we can reach out and do a little bit of research on what our options would be.
Exactly.
Like what would a tent cost, or what would be the logistics of having it up at Mount Snow, and work through all of that. Once we have settled on a date, it's kind of hard to do all of that without having settled on a date.
Mm-hmm.
You're kind of
Correct.
shooting at a moving target.
Hey, Vicky,
Yes, Richard.
can public speak on this?
Of course.
Richard?
So as your town moderator, maybe, you've picked a date. Maybe it's a suggestion, have your town clerk, your town moderator, and a select board member, do some research and look in and maybe make some suggestions at a future meeting for you.
About the venue?
Well, the venue and,
Tent.
the how you're going to run it. Is it going to be inside or outside? Remember too, Andy, I think, said it at our meeting when we were discussing ours, is that, there are CDC recommendations, and the state of Vermont has recommendations for gatherings, and they change every couple weeks. You see something new coming out, new recommendations. There was just a few new recommendations on the daily report from the state, I believe, yesterday. So, we can at least get some information together for you. And then I think if Andy's willing, I shouldn't volunteer Andy and your select board, but subgroup just to gather up. But I know Andy's very interested, and I'm interested in the meeting too, and I know the select board is.
Well, I think that's a good idea to have a subgroup kind of try to figure out the nuts and bolts of it. I think that it would be important though for us to try to figure out a date and set that. Obviously, we can all change our mind again at some point in the near future, but if we want to set a date. So I'm hearing May 18th is pretty well Tuesday at 10 o'clock in the morning. What do you think, Andy? Okay. So I'll take a motion that that's what we're going to set our date as, and then we'll talk about a subgroup who is going to look at logistics of the whole thing.
I make a motion that the Dover Town meeting be held at 10 a.m. on Tuesday, May 18th, a location to be determined.
Second.
Okay, any other discussion about May 18th? At 10 a.m., did you say, Sarah, in your motion?
I included
Oh.
that, yes.
All in favor, say or raise your hand saying aye.
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 Aye, that's unanimous, Jeanette. Okay, so, Andy, would you be interested, obviously, in being involved in trying to deal with that? Richard has already volunteered himself, and Sarah wants to be involved. Is there another select board member who'd like to get involved in this?
I
Dan,
will.
okay, so we have Dan, Sarah, Andy, and Richard. That a good group? All right. Yeah. And we look forward to hearing back from you guys in the next meeting or at the latest meeting after that, okay? Thank you. Thank you. I'm excited about having an in-person meeting, hopefully. Okay, now we're moving on now to the revisiting of the Planning Commission vacancy. We're going to consider increasing the number of members on the commission and announce appointments. So I think Sarah, it took the lead on this.
Sarah, Dan,
and Dan. And who
Matt.
else?
Kevin Stein and Brendan McCrail were the
And
interviewers.
did Tabby as well?
And no, Tabby basically got us started, but that was she was kind of in and out.
Okay.
That night.
So you guys want to talk to us about, which one do you want to talk about first?
I think we have to first our recommendation is that we increase the size of the board to 5 officially.
Okay,
Correct.
so we're gonna need a motion to do that because we decreased the planning commission to 3 several years ago. And
So I
Jeanette
make
has a question. Jeanette?
Oh, I'm sorry. And were you also, it was going to be 5 members with 1 alternate? Is that
Yes.
correct? Okay.
Okay, so that's what we're gonna need a motion, correct,
So-
Sarah? Is that what you're asking for?
Yes, I make a motion that we increase the size of the Dover Planning Commission to 5 board members with an alternate position.
Second.
Second.
Any discussion from the board at first? Any discussion from the public? No. Hearing and seeing nothing. All in favor? Say aye.
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 Aye. Unanimous, Jeanette? Okay, so will you announce your selection, and then we're gonna also have to make a motion to appoint those people.
Okay, so the committee is recommending that the select board appoint Becky Arbella, Michelle Pinkham, and Dana Soros as board members and Peter McDonald as an alternate.
Okay, any discussion about that? From anybody? Kevin, you're there. Are you in favor of this as well?
Yes, I would strongly be in favor of that. I think the more minds and eyes we have on it, the better diversity of opinion we'll have. And also before this remolding of our planning commission, we were technically at 4 because Brendan was voted in while Nicholas and Tim were still on the board with me. So we're really only increasing it by 1, but mute point.
Okay. Anything else from anybody? Okay,
Congratulations.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Joe said aye also, so unanimous also. Thank you. Thank you all who, welcome to Fun with Dover. And thank you for your stepping up to do this. We really appreciate it.
So I'm
And
just gonna
plan
ask,
away.
I'm going to ask that temporarily Kevin act as chair and call a meeting for the planning commission to get that started.
I hear you. I think we'll do that pretty quickly. I don't know if we can do it by the next Monday, but if not, certainly by the following Monday. I think one of the first things we're going to have to look at is just getting everybody up to snuff on open meeting laws. I don't even know how they've changed since the pandemic. And there'll be obviously some review of essentials of land use planning and regulation and going over some of the statutory requirements of the 12 different elements of the town plan. I think I can help a little bit with that. I've probably reviewed 10 town plans at the Wyndham Region Commission, sitting on committee work there. So I think that's one of my stronger places, even though I have no actual experience in writing a town plan. And as far as the other aspects of the planning commission, we'll just tackle them as they're presented to us, I guess.
So that brings up a good question. Since we do not have a chair, Kevin, you want Kevin to act as a chair to call the meeting. Who will be opening the meeting for the first planning commission meeting?
Well, I think if we can ask Kevin to act as to be the acting chair until the meeting is held and the board can elect their own chair.
But somebody else who is not a board member, like Jeanette does it for us when we reorganize.
Well, it could be Tabby or I, because we're planning on being there even if we're not on the board.
I don't know if that's a problem. I don't know. This is an unusual situation. Jeanette, could you just check on that?
Yes.
Thank you. And then if one of you, if that's fine, the zoning administrator or the head of the DRB, it may need to be somebody like Jeanette who just opens the meeting and does that.
Right. So if Kevin and Jeanette get together after that's figured out, and then Kevin can notify the other board members of the time and date of the meeting, and
yeah, we'll figure out how
Kevin and
to
Jeanette
open
can
that
email
meeting.
them together.
To be reorganized.
Right.
Good. Thank you, everybody, for that. Anything else on this, on the planning commission?
Thank
I'm
you.
glad we have a full planning commission. That's great.
And welcome everybody who interviewed and was selected. We're really looking forward to your hard work.
Okay, I see Cliff has joined us now, Cliff Duncan, to revisit the Duncan cable agreement to broadcast our Zoom meetings on Duncan cable.
There's Ryan.
And now there's Ryan.
Hello. Hello.
Hi.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yes.
Good.
So this was part of our packet that was sent to all board members. Did everybody have a chance to look it over? Does anybody have any questions or concerns? Jeanette.
Not really a concern. I did give it to Chris Dugan to look at, and he was fine with it. The only issue he had was the last sentence of the first paragraph about the file transfer from the town of Dover to Duncan Cable. And I spoke with Eric about it, and he was, because he does the YouTube file download, whatever it's called. And so he's willing to give Duncan Cable access to the file, and we'll be good.
Yeah, I was going to suggest that anyway. I don't want the board, I mean, anybody in the town to go to extra work to get this done. Eric is already dealing with it. So if they can have access to, they can grab it off from YouTube, right? Eric, yes.
So no, they can't download it from YouTube. However, I think the agreement Ryan had sent to Jeanette, or the idea Ryan had sent to Jeanette, is it's literally just putting it into like a Google Drive folder that they can access. So like I'm already dealing with the video. It literally, while I'm doing that, would take me 2 seconds to give them that in a Dropbox folder or Google folder. Like it's not a lift at all.
So on that note, I'm kind of curious, Eric, are people viewing our meetings after? Are we getting, I mean, are 5 people looking at it or?
Yeah. People,
Not many,
so,
huh?
yeah, so people are viewing them. I didn't pull up, like this is the first time you've asked. I'll try to get some more specific
No,
numbers.
I can look myself, you know, at the views too, but I just was curious.
They are looking. I think it depends on what we have on the agenda. I think the whole idea behind this and the whole idea with us working with Duncan Cable is just the idea that there is, you know, especially with us not being in, you know, public meetings where we can all be together, the transparency of the whole thing, it gives us another way to say, here's another way for you to see what we've been working on and what we're doing. So it takes us an extra 2 seconds, you know, even when we get back in person, put them up on YouTube. Like it really doesn't take a long time, and it just gives us that extra level of transparency. I think it's a good thing to do.
So my only comment on this is, at this point, this agreement is only to have our Zoom meetings put out on Duncan Cable. This is not in any way the robotic cameras or anything like that. I just, it doesn't say that. I mean, it says Zoom meetings in here that aren't, and so I just want to make clear that we're not approving robotic cameras at this point.
Yeah, we get that. Yep.
Okay.
So we'll revisit that when the time comes and in-person meetings resume, then we can put that on the agenda.
Any other comments from the board or for the public?
Nope.
So hearing none, I need to have a motion that I can sign this agreement on behalf of the town.
I make a motion that we authorize Vicky Capitani to sign the Duncan Cable agreement for the town of Dover.
Second.
Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I will also send this over to Jeanette, signed tomorrow.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yep.
So will you start with are you going to start with this meeting?
Yeah, we can program this in, yes.
Okay. I don't get Duncan Cable, so I don't see it, but
we're working on
it.
Yeah, you got to talk to the big man there.
Okay, thank you, Cliff, thank you, Ryan.
Yeah,
thank you.
Okay, we are now jumping back down to the consent agenda. This is the most jumping we've done in a while. So we have to approve the minutes of January 19th, 2021, and I think all members were at that meeting.
Yes. Yes, they were.
Yes, Joe, yes, everybody was there. So
What about the
anybody have
25th?
want to do a motion?
Well, was
And
everyone
Dan
there?
wasn't at the 25th.
Oh, okay.
No, Dan was not there on the 25th.
So I'll make a motion that we approve the minutes of January 19th, 2021.
Second.
And second. Any changes, additions, corrections? Hearing none, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Now I need a motion for the minutes of our executive session with the River Valley School Board for January 25th.
I make a motion that we approve the minutes of the January 25th, 2021 meeting.
Second.
Dan, you can't second.
No, it wasn't. So take Scott. He was a little before Joe.
Okay.
I didn't.
Oh, I thought that it sounded like you.
No, it was Scott and Joe.
Ah,
Fighting
Scott.
over that second. So any changes or to the agenda, I mean, to the minutes for that? All in favor, say aye.
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 Cheers.
Dan is abstaining, right, Dan?
Mm-hmm.
And now we need to approve the warrants for January 23rd for $876,008.14.
So moved.
Second, I'll second that.
Second, yeah, sure. Sorry.
Anybody have any questions or concerns about the warrants?
No.
Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, FYIs. Anybody out there have an FYI? Liaison report? Oh, whoa.
Sorry.
First Jeanette, then Eric.
Ooh, okay.
A late one.
No, I just wanted to, I don't know if there's any dog owners on the chat here, but dog license renewals are now ready to be accepted. All you dog owners out there in Dover, and liquor license renewals too. So
Good FYIs. Thank you
Okay.
very much, Jeanette.
Drugs
Eric?
and alcohol.
Boy, I grazed over it briefly, but we were supposed to give you an FYI that our first Trails and Rec Committee, which is an open meeting to the public, we encourage everyone to attend, is set for next Tuesday, February 9th at 6:30 p.m. We will get the agenda and Zoom information out very shortly on that.
Great. Good job. You have another one?
Yes, I just looked at YouTube. We have 41 views on one of our videos, so we're basically viral at this point.
I actually looked at one myself, so I think I looked at it 2 different times to clarify something. So
It's
it is
only
handy in that
39 then.
respect.
Wow.
So
that's
Change
impressive.
it to 39.
So there, thank you for the TV stats there. Our Nielsen ratings are great, or whatever. Okay, do we have any liaison reports? I am not aware that we have an executive session and the need of one tonight. Okay, so I would like to adjourn this meeting at 7:42.
Night, night.
Thank you all.
Right.
Bye. Bye, Andy.